Manchester United versus Tottenham. That was a good game of football. Some may actually call it a delectable medley of footballing splendour. It had everything. I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful clash, and I loved everything about it. I loved the intensity of the game. I loved some of the quality goals that we saw. I also loved the edge. It felt like such a hostile Premier League clash. You know, when Wan-Bissaka went straight through Werner, or Dallo, the man and ball challenge on Brennan Johnson. I thought it was a real clash. And it was huge from Tottenham, wasn't it? It's painful for me to say it, but that was a statement from Tottenham Hotspur. That was a statement from Ange Postecoglou. It is a huge moment in Ange Postecoglou's season. The fact that they have gone away to Old Trafford, the fact that they have gone away to Old Trafford with so many injuries, the fact that they've gone away to Old Trafford with so many injuries and been losing twice and still feel gutted that they didn't win the game. That is the hallmark of a successful team. That's actually the hallmark of a team that will win silverware. And I do not like saying those words. I was so impressed with Tottenham today. They dominated on basically every metric. And the reason why Manchester United got something out of the game is because their front two pulled it out of the bag. But Tottenham was far superior. And when you consider the amount of injuries that they had, it really is a huge day for Tottenham. They dominated on everything. You know, they dominated on possession, they dominated on chances, and they basically just got unlucky that Hojlund and Rashford scored their best goals of the season. Both of them. The quality of finishes were so impressive, but it's all about Tottenham, you know. It really is all about Tottenham. The resilience from Tottenham was just spectacular. And resilience isn't a word that you usually associate with Tottenham. When you talk about Tottenham, you actually think that they've got it in them to capitulate. You actually think that they've got it in them to, you know, snatch a defeat from the jaws of victory. Whereas here, they fought tooth and nail, and they were the best team by far. They deserved 3 points. And the fact that they were losing twice away from home, and I'm still saying they deserved the 3 points, the domination from them, particularly in the midfield. You know, I thought Bentancur, what a player he is. One of the most underrated players in the Premier League, I think. He was sensational today. And the goal that he scored, the quality of the goal, to just edge that little bit of manoeuvre, to create that room, to ghost past Johnny Evans before lashing it home. That was a spectacular goal. But actually, the other Tottenham goal, the Richarlison equaliser, deserves huge credit here because it's so perfect for Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou deserves so much credit for that goal. It was straight off the training ground, wasn't it? They know that in a player like Pedro Porro, they have a diamond, they have a jewel, and therefore set pieces are something that should be really preserved and worked upon and coveted, and they're very precious. They got themselves a set piece and they just wanted it more. They were hungry. It was like a tsunami of Tottenham. You know, it's Manchester United's area that the second Pedro Porro kicked the ball, it became Tottenham's. They dominated it. They wanted it more. They were hungry. They were vicious. And they ultimately reaped the rewards. When Romero, Van der Ven and Richarlison went up, Rasmus Hojlund shirked it. Let's be fair, shirked it. Wan-Bissaka didn't want it as much. Onana didn't even come off his line. Johnny Evans struggled. And the tsunami of Tottenham just overwhelmed that Manchester United backline. And Richarlison, getting his head on it, 6 in 6 for him now. Scored more goals for Tottenham this season than any Arsenal player has scored for Arsenal. And I think when you think about Ange Postecoglou's brilliance at Tottenham, and he has done very well, the only difference for me, I acknowledge when he's done well. It's just when he does badly, I'll talk about that as well. Whereas other people seem to just flag when it goes well. And even when it goes badly, they find the positive. You know, they lost to Chelsea 4-1 and people say, didn't Ange Postecoglou do well? I will acknowledge when he does well, and today I thought he was sensational. And when you think about Richarlison, if you use Richarlison as a case study to demonstrate the brilliance of Postecoglou, I think he works really well. He has been a brilliant player for Tottenham this season. And I thought it was over. I thought his Tottenham career was over. He was actually a laughing stock last year. And the way that Postecoglou has got him playing so well, the way that Postecoglou has managed to create a serious player in Richarlison, somebody who's goal hungry, works hard for the team. Like, that was his best goal for Tottenham, by the way. Best game. Maybe best goal, but definitely best game. I've never seen him have a game like that for Tottenham. He was everything. He was actually brilliant for them, even in a defensive capacity. I really did think that he was just sensational. And you have to remember that Tottenham have dominated like that because of their work ethic. They're missing so many players. You know, Kulusevski even is out. They've had to play Brennan Johnson. over the others. Like they're really struggling for personnel. And the reason that they have done so well today, and the reason why they're doing so well in the league, is because they're really working as a team. And Richarlison represents that. You know, his defensive qualities today were as important as everything he offered further up the pitch. And he isn't the only one. You know, if you think about Destiny Udogie, man. Like, you know, I did a live, you know, I sometimes go live on this YouTube channel. In fact, click subscribe so that you will get a notification when I go live. I want you to be part of it. I was live talking about this, and somebody in the live asked me, is Destiny Udogie the best left-back in the league? And I said he's not, because you can't be the best left-back in the league when you've only just arrived effectively and you've got players who have been brilliant for a decade or so. But in terms of being on form, there isn't a better left-back in the league than Udogie. It's not saying he is the best. I'm just saying in terms of his current form, Udogie is the best left-back in the league. And when you think about the purchase of him, like, it was fairly underwhelming. It didn't cost a lot of money. And Postecoglou deserves so much credit for that. Like, Udogie today was magnificent, because I think that Alejandro Garnacho is a superstar. I think he's a Hollywood footballer. I think he's waiting to win a Ballon d'Or. And he didn't really get involved. Udogie had him sewn up, and that's such a difficult thing to do. Keeping Garnacho quiet is impressive. Keeping Garnacho, when he's in the form that he has been in of late, quiet, is actually just incredible. And again, we have to talk about the contribution from Postecoglou. It's Richarlison's rich scoring spree. It's Bentancur, man of the match at Old Trafford, when his team have been losing twice. It's Udogie, the best left back in the league. It's the keeper. It's Van der Vaart. It's so impressive. It really is. And everything that we said about Tottenham here, the reverse is true about Manchester United. You know, look, they didn't get beat, and I think they'll be very happy that they didn't get beat. But they didn't really enjoy any sustained periods of pressure against Tottenham. They didn't really ask many questions of Tottenham, and I think it's worrying for Ten Hag. You know, they're at home against the team. Look, Tottenham are a beatable team. You know, they've proved that this season. They're at home against a beatable team, a Tottenham team, who have loads of injuries, and yet they didn't really ask many questions. The only reason it went well for them is because, I mean, Marcus Rashford scored a fantastic goal, and so did Rasmus Hojlund. The only other talking point is Marcus Rashford's celebration. Apparently, he's given it a bit to the Manchester United fans. Now, where I sit on this, I think that Marcus Rashford has every right to acknowledge people talking. But let's not try and pretend that Marcus Rashford's form has been anything but pitiful this season. And therefore, Rashford is going to have to deal with some criticism. So I just don't think that as football fans we need to be too precious. He has to deal with criticism. He has to deal with listening to journalists and fans alike having their say on his form, talking about him. Are Manchester United better off without Marcus Rashford? So when he scores, he is allowed to give it back. But he doesn't really have any, you know, the only way that he can really give it back is by scoring more goals, like the one he scored today. But Tottenham should be over the moon. The only reason they shouldn't be is because they somehow didn't get the 3 points when they clearly deserved it. For Manchester United, I think it's still a worry, man. It's still a worry. But please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this game? Very interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for joining me for this review, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure that you click subscribe if you haven't already as well. Really does help me out. Have a wonderful Sunday night. Cheers.